own shirts, but I don't know if it's dirty.
I don't know if I believe you, bro.
No, he doesn't do the dirty thing, but he genuinely cuts.
Oh, well.
His
yeah.
shirts
I mean,
Hey,
this
dude, if
shirt,
it works,
this
it works,
shirt's been
dude.
cut. Everything you see me
Oh,
in gym,
shit.
it's cut.
Damn.
Alrighty.
Woo!
Are we recording?
Yeah, buddy.
Alrighty.
I don't want the intro this time. As you take
You
it,
can
buddy.
have it, my brother. It's always the fucking one.
Welcome back to Vaabs podcast.
Bobs. Bobs.
Hope everyone's doing well. I am your host with the most, Davido. I'm scared now. Lebs is looking at me.
I'm
Lebs,
smiling
our
at you.
next host,
Hey, what's up? I'm Lebs, Captain Lebrazil. Welcome.
and our big guest,
Woo!
Big Judson.
How's it, guys?
Hudson
Judson,
with a J.
Hudson with a J, otherwise known as
Yes, boy.
All right.
Johnny. Bobs.
How you
Johnny
feeling?
Words.
Johnny Vaabs, how's it? Oh, goodness. Jaddy, thank you for coming on to the podcast
Thanks
today,
for having
brother.
me, guys. Glad to be here.
Facts, man's been a secret fan from the start and then
Oh,
a
yeah?
loud fan.
Hey, dude, I saw that little DM today.
Yeah.
Much love, bro.
Yeah, thanks, dude. If you guys don't know Hudson with a J, big up music, would you say producer?
Producer,
Yeah, solid.
Producer.
But I actually want to ask
Soon
you.
to be DJ.
There we go.
Soon to be DJ.
Yeah,
7 years about ago.
Because I've literally always wondered, I'm like, dude, you make a lot of tunes.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, are you wanting to become a DJ or is it just like,
So it started off as just a producer kind of thing, but you realize, as you start releasing more and more music, you need to get out there. Just by releasing stuff, you don't really get the views and the listens and stuff that you're looking for. So to actually get that, you need to start performing. And I've always loved kind of performing in a way. So it's definitely something I'm working on. I mean, this year is my year to actually start getting out there. So it's the plan. That's the plan. I
Is he
can't
performing
let
at
you know
Truth?
when yet.
oh, fierce.
But maybe one day you'll see me at Truth. You never know.
Ooh.
That's the
Yeah.
goal.
Yeah,
It's not the end goal, but
Yeah.
it's one of the goals.
yeah.
But that's a plan, man. That's definitely
That's
the plan.
fucking
Get in
exciting,
there.
dude. What would you say, like, you would class your genre of music that you make?
Look, currently outranges. Hey, mainly it's deep house. It's definitely deep house. I love my house music. I've been a fan of house music for quite a while, few years. It's actually quite funny because I think when I was in high school, I was a big fan of like blues, heavy rock, more like 80s classic metal kind of
Oh,
thing.
really?
And it was sick. I mean, I still absolutely love it. I actually used to talk the biggest amount of shit of deep house, like
I feel like you have to. If you listen to
And
like rock or anything,
dude,
you have to hate
if
deep
I
house
can-
with a passion.
Bro, if I can tell you the amount of my mates would show me, yo, Jan, yo, Timo dropped this track. It's so sick.
Who the fuck's
And I was
that?
like, so bop. This is doof music, bro. This is doof shit, man. And over the years, my mates absolutely loved house music. I mean, as I said, they were always telling me about these new tracks and stuff that Timo and Carl Watson and Chun has been dropping.
And wears off
And
you.
I just kind of,
Like wears off. Like
yeah,
starts nipping you.
yeah. You know what I mean? That feeling of hating house was actually, it slowly, faded after a while because it kind of ended up being a bit of trap. I love trap. And then from trap, it became dubstep. From dubstep, it kind of faded into house music. And then I absolutely just loved house music.
I feel like dubstep always gets people, eh?
Bro, there's something about dubstep. There's something
everyone
about
goes
dubstep.
through a
It like
dubstep
unites
phase,
people
bro.
together. I don't know how. It's,
There's something about, because it's hectic. Like it's, I mean, you get the odd like commercial dubstep that smacks, but it's not too hectic. There was like, what's the one artist? It's not Carnage. It'll come to me. But it's like very, very, very intense dubstep. And I used to love the shit out of it. And I still dig it. Not as much, but it's the sets. The sets are
dubstep goes-
absolutely ridiculous.
You ever watch a
bro.
Borgo set?
I think I did actually. I think he was at VAC.
No way,
I
live
think
though.
live, my boy.
Oh my days!
Look, wait, don't hold me to it because I might be
no,
mixing
no.
up with another artist, but I do love Borgo and I do remember seeing a dubstep artist at VAC in one of the
Wasn't
years.
Borgo at Ultra the year we were at?
No,
I'm sure he was.
I would,
Every
I would
year-
have left.
every year they ask-
so
Who's like your suggested DJ? Like, who would you want
It's
to
always
see at a
not
feature?
them. It's always not them,
Dude,
man.
I
Oh, fuck.
always put Borgo. I'm always like Borgo.
God, maybe one day they'll see it, bro, and be like, Lebs, Borgo, we got you, bro. We got you.
This is coming just for you.
But yeah, man, then it kind of faded into house because all my friends that I was chilling with absolutely loved house music. And from there, they're like, Judd, look, because I've been a guitarist for a number of years. And I was good at it, but I never really wanted to expand into joining a band and that kind of thing because it just wasn't for me. I mean, I love guitar, but it wasn't a thing I wanted to really excel at band wise.
Electric and acoustic, eh?
Yeah, so mainly electric. I mean, I can play acoustic, but I love love my blues. You know
Okay,
what I mean?
awesome.
Got myself a little Fender Stratocaster, which is perfect for blues, and it's all I do on a Sunday afternoon is just jam a little bit of blues on my Fender.
Oh, that's a bit nice.
And then from there, I was like, my mate said, listen, Judd, why don't you start music production? And I had the software and everything for a couple of years, never really got into it. Then I started a new job in advertising. I might have told you the story.
we were into
And
everything,
yes.
yeah.
So I started this job. I was an intern, but it was in the account management department, and it's very admin orientated. The company was sick, amazing, absolutely loved it. But there was a point where nobody was giving me work. You ask everybody in the company, can you give me something? Because I'm sitting on my ass doing nothing, And they always say, no, there's not much we can really give you, So I was like, well, I'm not going to sit and do nothing. So I pulled out my little Fruity Loops, which is the software, FL Studio now. And I just started making music. And it started off as lo-fi. So a big fan of lo-fi. Also, by the way, I got a little chill track coming out. It's not lo-fi, but it's different to house. Coming out soon. And started with that, made a few tracks, realized that I really enjoyed it, and I'm actually not too bad at it. And then from there, my love for house kind of faded into the music production. And I thought, shit, well, there's a lot of tracks I've seen on SoundCloud and Spotify. And I thought, this is sick, but I feel like I can make it even better. You know what I mean? There's a few sounds here and there that just stick with me, but it's not hitting my soul the way I want it to. You know what I mean? It's not. And I was like, why don't I just do it myself? And that's where I am now. I'm making house.
How did you get past the Fruity Loops? I called it like a trap, because Fruity Loops, you're there and you're like busy putting in beats and everything, and it feels like great. And you listen to it, it's like,
my man. If I can tell you,
my entire, like I've tried Fruity Loops once. I was like, man, this ain't for me. This stuff. How do you get past that? Like, do you actually jump past Fruity Loops, or could you still use Fruity Loops today and do
you can still do everything. The thing is with Fruity Loops, you've got a whole bunch of plugins. I mean, it's also like video production and stuff like that. I have these different plugins that you can do different effects and different synths and sounds and pianos and things that you can make whatever you want with it. You just got to get them. But even stock standard Fruity Loops, you can do a huge amount with it. It's just how there's so many different ways you can do it. It's literally YouTube. Honestly, YouTube will teach you everything, and then meeting up with other producers and them teaching you the way to do it is how you get out of that trap. Because I also in the beginning was making your trash, like exactly that, where you've got this random terrible kick going, and you got this like weirdly sounding terrible quality track,
put this all into like a lo-fi beat. It's like, wait, am I just going into EDM? Okay, well,
you know what I mean?
Okay, I guess we're going there now.
Every Fruity Loops track ends up as an EDM.
My God.
Dude, the other day I was trying to make like fucking trap, I was trying to make a trap beat. Because I was like, trap is easy, surely. And then it just ended up EDM, and I'm like, I guess this is okay.
If I can tell you, that's me with every single house track I've made. Every single time I tell myself I want to change up, because you want to be doing different genres. You want to be changing it up slightly here and there, just to kind of grow with your music production and just to see what you can do. But every single time I try and change it up. Like I tried to do a hip hop track the other day. If I can tell you now, that thing became house so quickly. Because you hear this one sound and you're like, but that beat, okay, that's sick. That's got a little vibe to it. Then you add a synth and you're like, okay, well, I guess it's house. It's house,
I can't stop now. It just
I
sounds
can't
too
stop
good.
now. It's house. And I'm like, next time, like even my girlfriend's like, Judd, maybe make a lo-fi track. She loves lo-fi and like very chilled music. She likes my house, but she's also a big fan of lo-fi. I was like, yeah, no, I'll make something very chilled for you. And I got onto it, and literally it was going great, absolutely great. Pull out the guitar, did a little bit of something here and there. And then you just feel that vibe. Your shoulders start going. Okay, house. It's house. Sorry,
Babe, it's coming along really well.
Yeah, dude. But that's literally every single track I made now. But with the children I was talking about, you really have to force yourself to change up. Because you get into a kind of not a rut, but you get kind of start making the same thing all the time, and you're not expanding in the type of music you're making. And with making other genres, you learn different things. So, I mean, in the lo-fi, I might find a different, I don't know, synth or piano thingy that actually works nicely in-house. It works nicely with lo-fi, but I know for my next house track, I'm like, shit, I must use this sound, pop it into the house track, and now I've learned something new, or maybe add a different effect here and there.
That's so dope.
Yeah, man.
I also think it's like trust the process as well, because I've like seen like definitely like very layman's terms of me to say it, but it's like you just see everything that's happening on the computer. It's like, this is gonna work. Like I just gotta trust that it's all gonna come together.
Dude, it can get very overwhelming. I mean, there's times where I've sat there and I'm like, yo, this is gonna be a banger. In 2-3 weeks or whatever, however many days, this thing is gonna smack. And in that amount of time, you look back and you're like, yo, this thing's trash.
Yeah.
And you got to move on. Sometimes there's tracks you got to leave. I mean, I'm sure, Dill, about, maybe you make a video or something, or, and you get to a point where you're like, this is going to be beautiful. And you get to the end, you're like, delete, or, folder and don't work on it again.
Liv, how many videos you got left, buddy?
Wait, welcome back to Vaabs podcast where we don't talk about video editing. Dude, I have an entire like 6 folders on my old laptop of just shit I didn't post. Like, that's the thing people think as well, because they always get on to me like, oh, why don't you post YouTube? I'm like, bro, because I'm shit. Or at least I'm not shit. But whatever I make.
You need to be satisfied with what you're making. You know what I mean?
100%.
Because there's also times where you can get stuck into perfecting something.
Yeah.
I actually read a post today by this one other producer who's just mastering and stuff. And what he said is that, once you're satisfied with your track and you're doing all the tests, you got a car test, your phone test, your headphone test, because you want to make sure it all sounds the same. Because I don't know if you guys know, but when you make a track, how it sounds on one speaker is not going to sound the same on another. You got to make it all sound, bro. It's a mission. I mean, you slowly, you learn the tools and your ears kind of get used to it over the years. But you've really got to start, shit, I completely lost my train of thought. What was I saying?
Making sure that you don't get too deep into perfecting something.
Yes. Don't get too deep into perfecting something. Because literally your track will be done. It's basically perfect. But for you might be like, oh, the snare's too loud. Let me go in quickly. You listen to it in the car, you're like, shit's hitting me a bit hard. But for you, you'd be like, dude, I'm not hearing anything. It sounds perfect. Yeah. So I go sit in the studio again, edit, do what I need to do. Now I'm like, wait, but the bass is too loud. The snare's fine, but the bass is too loud. Then you mix with the bass. Then you go listen to it again. You're like, wait, now the bass is too soft, but the snare's too soft, but the clap's a bit too loud. And you just get into this rut of just editing everything. And you just get to a point where you're like, I fucked this track up. Yeah. So he said that, it was, I think the 80-90 rule or something. When a track's 80 to 90% done, leave it. Wow. Because 90% of the time, 99% of the time, it's finished. You're just getting too stuck into perfecting a track. And he even said, another guy's 100% finished track and your 80% track, your track will probably be better than his 100% track because he sat there changing all these things, making this try to sound better. And now when he tried to perfect that side of it, it ends up being not, ends up being worse. And it was actually a really cool thing that I read because I was like, shit, I've had this, I mean, like, you've had this experience where you've spent so much time on trying to make this perfect track, but there is no perfect track. There's a track that you're happy with, leave it, release it, and learn from it next time. You know what I mean? And then you have someone who, I've had tracks walk away. I don't know if you guys have heard it on my Spotify. And my girlfriend loves it, and my mates love it. People just love it, and I'm like, it's kind of shit. Like for me, it's kind of cuck because you sucked into trying to perfect a track and knowing where you were and where you are now, but you don't realize that people who don't actually make music and stuff, you don't realize that they're not noticing those issues.
Do you ever feel like with a track sometimes you just want to stop, like you've been working on it for so long that, like, because I know with like Dylan editing and even me sometimes when you edit a video that's like super long, it's like you're seeing it over and over again, and then by the time you see it for the 100th time, you're like, is this actually good? I don't know, but you just trudge on, like hoping.
You've got to limit yourself a certain amount of hours or something to sit on it. I mean, also with music production, you can get a bit of ear fatigue. And with ear fatigue comes bad mixing decisions. You know what I mean? So I've sat on a track for like 2 hours non-stop trying to mix this thing. And you find out the next day, there's actually so many memes and stuff about it. It's like you're drunk
or something.
Literally, I sat on a track, I swear, for 4 hours because I was just in a vibe. I was like, yes, this is going. Vaabs. Sorry. And I was just going at this track and I'm like, I'm loving this, I'm loving it. And it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, flip, I can't wait to hear it the next morning. And you wake up and you're like, what the fuck did I just make?
I don't think you're some like pre-vocals or something like,
and it's like, what was that? Dude, I'm like, this makes no sense at all. How did it end up being this guy?
Yeah, stop doing ad-libs.
You know what I mean?
And then you just add your voice, you're like, yo, how cool did that sound? I'm gonna run it back.
Bro, the amount of times I've finished the track and I just play it all the time because I'm satisfied, I'm happy with this track, and I just overplay to death, absolute death, and I'm like, oh, it's kind of trash now. And your mates will tell you not sick, but you're like, is it though? Like, you just being nice.
I need some real criticism, like, be honest. I never realized, I was like, okay, so you guys hate me. I get it. I'll stop coming out. Don't worry.
You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, you've got to limit yourself. Now I've started saying, I'll produce or mix for an hour, 40-minute break or 30 minutes, even 10 minutes works, but I sometimes like to take a bit longer because you can mix a bit loud and mess
How long
your ears
does
up.
it normally take you to like make a track?
Lately, look, it can vary, bro, depending on how I'm going with the track. Because I mean, I may get still sucked into a steez like that where you making the track and I'm like, I'm really, really digging this track. This is my favorite track. This is gonna make me famous. And then I spend 8 hours on it and I wake up the next day and I'm like, this ain't gonna make me famous. This is gonna ruin my career. So it can vary. it can be between a day to 3 weeks. You know what I mean? So. Because you also, there's also more to it. So you make a track and you've got to mix it, then you've got to master the track.
What's your actual process of it? I've always wanted to find out, like, if you can give it go in depth, but in layman's terms would be perfect. But
so
I won't know anything you say.
I'm David Layman's.
So it depends. I mean, sometimes I'll start with a melody, I'll just sit on the piano and just mess around with a few chords and be like, oh, I like that chord. Let me pop that. Let me drop this octave, hear what that sounds like. Then I've got maybe a 4-8 bar loop. Pop that in and then throw on a drum loop. After I've got the drum loop, then I throw in the bass line. Then with the bass line comes the vocals. Or maybe you don't even need vocals. And you're like, actually, everything encompassed in the track is filling it up. Because you want to fill it up without having everything muddled. And don't have too many sounds. Because you can also get trapped into throwing too much into a track, thinking, oh, it's just so crazy, so professional. Meanwhile, it's just clickety clang, blah, 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 whatever it just sounds. So it can vary from, sometimes I just throw in a drum loop as well. I mean, there's literally, we've got... packs you can download where it's just a drum loop, and that helps with your thought process. So I'll throw on a drum loop, come up with a bass line, get a couple of synths ready, and then just kind of go from there. It's really a what's the thing called, where you gotta do it before you know if it's gonna work or not.
Trial and error.
Trial and error, that's the one. It's really, really trial and error. I mean, you'll be surprised how much trial and error it is. But sometimes you'll literally just be in a zone where you're like, sure, these chords work, this drum loop works, this bass line, maybe I've got to change it up. I mean, there's been times where I've finished a track and I've been like, okay, something's missing. I throw in vocals and I'm like, oh wait, this bass line's not working with the vocals, but I want these vocals. Let me take out the bass line, change the bass. I mean, the track I just dropped in the end, the remix on SoundCloud, just to let y'all know. Link back in the HudsonWithaJ remix. So that actually started as a completely different track. It was deep house. The bass line was different. The rest of the synths and the piano and all of that stuff was pretty much there. Actually, the piano wasn't there. I threw in the piano because I wanted to change up my genre a little bit from deep house to kind of like a future house vibe. Then I found a nice little piano loop that I worked on. Had a nice future house vibe to it, but the bass line wasn't working with the piano loop. So, because if it's not going, it's going to clash and it's going to sound terrible. So then I fixed the bass line to go with the piano loop so that it sat very nicely. And then from there, I was like, hey, still missing something. I need vocals. So I went through all my acapellas and I was like, shit, what could work with this? And I took a Linkin Park. No. I first took I think it was an Evanescence thing, or I think it was even Adele. I was like, yeah, it's cool, but it's not schmack in the way I wanted to. I was like, yo, I've always wanted to make a Linkin Park remix. Let's see. I loved Linkin Park, and I popped in the end, and it just sat so nicely, bro. It just, for me, it just sat beautifully, and from there, that's how it ended up being a Future House in the end remix. Literally, awesome. I think I even named the track Loving or something way back, and then it ended up being an in the end remix. It changes so drastically, so you can't get sucked into sticking on this. Sometimes you have to because you don't want to change it too much, but sometimes you do have to. You've got to be like, what, this ain't working, let's make it work.
And it is a beautiful fucking remix, I can't lie.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
It is fucking
glad
beautiful.
You dig it.
Yeah, bro.
Glad you dig it.
100%.
Where do you get your vocals from? Like if it's not like the in the end type genre, I mean, like a proper track.
What do I use? I use Splice. I don't know if you've heard of Splice.
No.
So Splice it's literally just a website full of plugins. I mean, you sign into it. I think I pay like $200 a year or something. Okay. It's very cheap, and you get allocated, I think, 100 points each month, and they build on each other, which is nice. It's not like data where you buy it and fucks off at the end of the month. It literally builds on top of each other. So I mean, at the end of it, you can have like 1,000 points, and each sample. I mean, there's drum samples, there's bass samples, there's vocal samples, there's everything you can think of. And yeah, it might cost you like two points here or something, maybe 1 point for a vocal or something. You'll be actually surprised how many producers use it, which also becomes a mission because you've got, James or Chanda Monkey or Carl Watson. Not so much Carl Watson. He usually does gets his own vocalists. But you'll get the odd producer who's a bit bigger and they're using Splice too. Now they've got this track. They've used these lyrics. And it's like, for fuck's sake, now these lyrics schmack. But I can't use them.
It's so wild to be like hear it on Splice, be like, I thought this was original.
Dude, the amount of times I literally was working on a track and I was like, yo, these lyrics are going in. And then you find out later. Like,
you go out and it's like, where did you get these lyrics from?
You know what I mean? And it's not even new lyrics. I mean, the track came out like 4 years ago, and I'm like, how did I not know this? Bro? I've been working on the track for like 4 hours, and I didn't even know these lyrics are being used. But yeah, Splice is nice. There's a couple of other things I use, but Splice is the main thing, and then YouTube. You know, YouTube, you just do little acapellas. That usually can clap you for copyright though, so that would be like a sound.
How deep is copyright? Oh, it is like with Splice and stuff because you pay. Or you just allowed?
Splice is fine because you're paying exactly that. So people literally will record vocals, sell it to Splice, and then because you're paying your monthly fee, you literally it's called rent to own lyrics or rent to own samples. So you pay them, you can keep them for your track, but you can't like save them into a folder.
Yeah,
you might be a way to get around it, but you know, don't quote me on that. But yeah, that's the best way to do it. And then it doesn't get cut for Spotify, which is great because Spotify is it's dangerous with copyright, man. Apparently, what I heard, I mean, I'm not too sure, but if you get clapped for copyright once, it's immediate ban. They might send you. I've also heard that they might send you an email saying, "Look, you've used this artist's lyrics. Either we'll remove your royalties from it, and you can still keep it, or they'll say remove it now."
Hectic.
Or they'll just be like, "How is chief? You didn't send the documents." Copyright. Yeah. So I'm not even going to take the chance. You know what I mean? Like I could do it, and they might be like, you know what, it's fine. Or you could send an email to the manager of the artist, but let's be real, the chances of them responding very low. So Splice is definitely the best way to do it. You know what I mean? It works. There's other places you can do it. And then getting your own vocalists, you know, chatting to other producers, chatting to other vocalists on Instagram, be like, do you want to collab? Collab.
He's a vocalist.
You ever seen
What are you talking about, Willis?
Are
you vocalist?
I don't know if you ever saw Major Production Fame, but we got a Link Larkin over here.
Don't be naive, bro. You can tell me. I need vocals, bro. I ain't fucking with you. Featuring Dill, bro.
No, I'd be keen actually. Yeah, what chat, bro?
No, definitely, dude.
I'll send you my showreel.
Good, dude. I'm
my name is Dylan.
Yeah, but that's the main thing. You know, you've got to work with other artists. I mean, I'm the type of person I'd like to work on my own, but I've realized you can't all the time. You know, you've got to work with other people. You learn things, and through working with other people, you find vocalists and you find different things to do producing. You know what I mean?
I feel like that's a big problem that comes with like South African music and stuff. It feels like everyone's very much like in their own corner, trying to like make it big, and I think it's like that sense of community is often like misguided and things like that.
100%.
Where it could just be like, imagine everyone helping each other. It'd be so nice.
100%. I mean, the music industry it's hectic, man. Like I haven't really branched off into it yet, and you know, I'm just producing right now. But when I start DJing and trying to get gigs and stuff, you know, people say it's hectic. Yeah. And you've got to chat to promoters, you've got to chat to people, you got to chat to other producers, you got to chat to other vocalists and things just to get your name out there. I mean, I can go and chat to some random girl who does vocals on Instagram. She's got, you know, 200 followers, but we work together because her voice works nicely with me. And then I can get, you know, she released the track because, you know, her vocals are on my track. So her followers hear it, my followers hear her voice. And it's literally just a community. And that's how you have to do it. Because if you're not, it's going to be very, I mean, it's not impossible. It's going to be very, 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 very difficult to actually get anywhere with it. So yeah.
Sure, man. I feel like that like branches off into so many different industries as well as just being able to like network, because I feel like everywhere it's like networking is the number one fucking thing that you need to do in order to like get bigger.
100%. I mean, I'm on Carl Watson's Patreon, and he also says that, listen, you know, to really, really make it big, you got to network. You have to, you know, to get those gigs. I mean, I could try my best to get a gig at Truth. The chance of me getting one now is very low because no one knows who HudsonWithaJ is right now. I mean, you guys do. Much love, much love. Maybe you guys will.
Music bangs.
You know, much love. But yeah, so they won't actually, even if it's a free gig, they're not going to do it because they don't want to have people come into their club and there's just a random artist who's playing cuck music for them. I mean, it could be absolute bangers, but the chance of them actually doing it. So you have to network, bro. Networking's the way of life.
Yeah, I think it's even the thing. I mean, we went to Katie's a while back, and then like I think it was Jordan Arts was playing, and then like just towards the end of it, they went, and it just felt like they're just like I think we spoke to the one guy.
This guy's so disrespectful.
No, man, no. I think it's good though. But we went and like the last three DJs after that, they were chilling. Like the one guy was just going, he just got off the set, walked off, his friend hopped on. I was like, what is happening? I was like, hey, if it helps, get out the name, man.
The number one rule, you don't leave your deck.
Yeah.
You don't. I mean, if you have to go and take a piss or something, you got to do what you got to do. You put on like a 7-minute track and, be back in time.
The sprint, back.
It's sprint, bro, but you don't want to be that guy who's playing a track and there's no one on the deck.
Dude, I went to that fucking Corona music festival and I was watching Fisher, dude.
Was this when he only came
2019
once, hey?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, dude, I love that festival. I don't know about you.
Oh, did you go?
I went.
Was it
bruh.
that day it was raining?
Yeah, dude.
Bro,
I was scared because that thing was like, this thing was coming down. And
Dude,
like, shit, how am I gonna jam? But I was like, fuck it,
It was
bro.
muddy as a
I'll
bitch
bring
that day.
dirty ass shoes and I'm just gonna party.
Yeah, facts. But it was literally, there was a point during his set where he disappeared. And I didn't notice. I was like, did he just walk away? Like, where the fuck did he
probably
go?
went to go take a
And he
piss,
went,
to be
no,
honest.
I see, like, I'm waiting there and I'm drilling and there's no one behind the deck. And then, like, 5 minutes later, I just see him pop up, like, with that big
Fisher,
smile.
bro.
Yeah, bro,
That's so
fucked up.
sick, man.
I was like, he schnuffed behind that tape,
Oh,
bro.
100%. That's Fisher,
Fully.
man. Ach, no, what a bang. No, that was a 6 day. That was a very, very 6. I was too fucked up, so I don't remember that. But it was absolute.
That was
banging, dude.
Nora and Pure as well.
Yes. I
Did you
saw
see
Nora and
Nora
Pure
and
for a
Pure?
bit.
Yeah.
If I can tell you, DJ Maparisa that day. I don't know if you were there that
No,
time.
I didn't see it, no.
Mark. But he was early. He was at like, I think, 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
That. Oh.
That's when he
Filthy.
remembers.
Anything after that is just a haze, bro. And then Watson at the end, obviously.
Yeah.
DJ Maparisa absolutely killed it. Nora and Pure, I was there for a bit. I used to be a massive fan of that tropical house because Nora and Pure is kind of got a tropical house feel. I mean, they've got a few deep house tracks here and there and more housey things. Massive fan, but I saw them live in Durban, I think 2016. I saw them live in Durban. And absolutely beautiful. But when I was there, I think at the same time, I can't remember who else was playing. Or we were just going to get drinks and we were fucked up somewhere. But yeah, no, Nora and Pierre schmacked. Fisher was absolutely
Insane.
beautiful. And then Carl Watson. I think Carl Watson closed that set.
Yeah.
If
Who
I-
would you say
if
is
I
like
can
your
remember.
favorite? Do you have any like inspiration for music and things like that? Or?
So definitely Carl Watson.
Subscribe to the Patreon. That's
100%, bro.
serious,
100%.
fam.
No, he's just a lacquer oak, bro. I mean, his music is amazing. As a
Yeah.
producer, there's a lot of people who he's kind of changed because he was very, very big deep house artist in SA. SA I think is very, very well known for its deep house. Because deep house is actually huge in like Brazil, Mozambique.
wow.
Those Brazilian beats on SoundCloud, bro.
Oh my god,
Ugh.
they schmink.
Bro.
and SA and everywhere else in the world, I think it's slowly getting there. But I think Watson also, your taste for music and your vibe and the music you make does change over the years. Sorry.
Yeah.
And he started making tech house and stuff. So a lot of people, and tech house and other very techie kind of vibes. So a lot of people aren't a huge fan of his music these days, but his actual production, at least in SA, I mean, the rest of the world, he's still banging it. But his actual production and the quality of his music is probably the best I've ever heard in my entire life. Since becoming a music producer, you appreciate music a lot more in the way. I mean, it's kind of annoying sometimes because you'll go to a club and you want to appreciate the music.
I was
but
going to
you're there
actually
like,
ask you about this.
yo, that kick's a bit off, hey? Like, it's sick, but that snare's a bit loud, bro. And it's kind of annoying, but you still appreciate the music. You still got those odd things. But his production skills are just unbelievable, bro. Unbelievable. Advent also really, really good. I mean, I love his music's very basic. It's not, let me not say basic. It's complicated, but he doesn't have a huge of stuff going on in the track. Whereas Watson's music's quite complicated compared to Advent, but it schmacks. I mean, deep house, Advent's deep house.
South
African. Yeah. Listen to Advent. I think you guys will dig it if you like your deep house.
Yeah, fully.
Chanda, I love Chanda. I mean, you can't go wrong with Chanda.
Yeah.
I love my deep
He's
house.
all
And
time,
He
dude.
was old school, got your deep house.
Doe
you know
was
what I mean?
saying earlier, because he made a track and he says something's missing from it, and he says he struggles so hard to find that like South African noise.
Yeah.
And I feel like that
Yeah.
bass, dude, whatever the fuck Chanda Monkey has going on,
My boy,
I swear he's got it as an NFT,
I don't know what
dude.
it is.
No one else.
That
Have you-
man's
have you tried to
hiding
find
shit.
it?
My boy.
Even Watson, dude.
Bro.
I don't know how they get the sound. Bro,
Dude.
it's the best sound I've ever heard in my
It's
life.
the most solid that.
Yeah.
Oh my
It
face, bro.
It's incredible, bro. Their skills are unbelievable.
Yeah,
honestly.
can I just say though that your fucking shit comes so close to that, and that's why I
Thank
love
you.
this stuff
Yeah.
as well because
Thank you.
it's just that beat. I feel like South Africans have just like adopted as our deep house because I haven't really heard many other deep house artists have that same type of vibe.
Yeah. I mean, you've got Gorgon City. I mean, they're slightly changing
true,
now,
yeah.
but their type of deep house
Slightly
is also.
David's heartbroken.
Sorry, bro.
from back, what was the album called? I always forget the main.
Oh,
the bass-
Siren.
Yeah, Siren.
Oh.
No, okay, but tell me Siren has
God.
been topped from Gorgon City, and
Dude,
it's impossible.
Sirens, Gorgon City. There's another one. Gorgon City is honestly one of my favorite artists of all time. Like when they were at Ultra that year,
Yes.
I was on Acnitane, so I couldn't drink.
Oh,
But I can
fuck.
tell you now, that was one of the best sober jaws.
And those
I've had in
and
my
those
life.
Yeah,
speakers
that's
as well,
beautiful.
by that stage as well was
Dude, it was
solid as
beautiful,
hell.
bro. Honestly, that set was it was
Dude,
god tier,
filthy.
man. Honestly.
Literally, we were chilling by like UMF or something, and I walked to that bar that's like just by the side in that open area. Yeah, I walked there, and then I started hearing this heavy bass, dude, and I was walking with elephants,
Pulls
bro.
you in, boy.
Oh,
Dum,
dude,
dum,
dum,
dun,
dum,
dun,
dum,
dun,
dum,
dun.
dum,
Oh,
dum.
I actually listened to it the other day, and I was like, yo, this song.
Dude, I
Something
couldn't,
about that track that just
Facts.
brings out memories,
bro. I couldn't walk away, dude. I was like, what is this? And then we drove there. It was Black Coffee. And I'd never seen Black
yeah,
Coffee live in my life, dude. And it was the most filthy shit ever.
Nah,
Then
dude.
Gorgon City came on directly after.
Oh yes,
it was
no,
beautiful.
That was such a
that ultra
that,
was
that lineup was
incredible.
beautiful. I mean,
It was the
we
best, I
literally
think, of
watched
all
like
time,
Gorgon
in my
City. And I
opinion.
think we watched Axwell and then Gorgon.
Yeah.
And it's like within the space of 2 minutes, you.
So I think Axwell was on when Gorgon City was on.
Yeah, that's the thing. We had
I
to pick
think.
and choose. I remember
Yeah,
we were
and
struggling.
we were going to me and my mates were at main stage and you're like, okay, Axwell or Gorgon City. And I've never been a big fan of Axwell. So I just said, look, I'm going to go to Gorgon City because I love Gorgon City.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, fine, we'll just bounce to Gorgon City. And it was the best choice we ever made at any ultra.
When they
in our
banged
lives.
Unmissable,
My-
bro.
Oh, bro. Oh,
What's the other one that I love as well? Fuck.
Hard on me.
Yeah, Hard on Me.
But hard on me, you don't. You
would
can play it
never-
at a festival, but there will be tears.
Bro.
Everyone's just.
I'm crying now. I don't want to be used. Darling.
Dude, it was the best set I think I've ever been to. It was beautiful.
Do you have like a best Joel ever that you've ever been to? Like you're like, that was the best fucking shit I've ever done.
That's a good question, hey.
I don't want
That's
to
a
talk
very
for you,
tough
but Ultra
question.
must be up there. Like, fuck.
So
Well,
the thing,
don't
the
talk
thing
for
for me, the thing for me, Ultra schmacks. But the thing is, the type of genres they play at Ultra. It's a very commercial, and it's not my type of vibe. You know what I mean? Like Axel Ingrosso and Avicii and those kinds of guys. I dig it, and don't get me wrong, they're incredible.
100%.
But it's not really my type of genre. You know, I like that deep grungy, that bass that hits you here. Boy. You know, that's why DJ Maparisa also does something about that bass, boy. That just my heart and my soul feels it, bro. But Ultra's definitely up there. The year that Gorgon City played, and Skrillex, actually the one I was telling you earlier, stunning. Dude, I think the best ever Joel was one of the New Year's at Truth. To be honest, I can't remember what year it was. I don't know if it was Watson or Advent. I honestly can't remember for the life of me, but it was definitely a Truth Joel. Absolutely a Truth. I mean, a lot of people hate me for this because Truth, you know, it can be a bit dingy. We all know that.
I think it's like your first
Joel,
experience.
it's a Joel.
That really means a lot because
Yeah.
my first experience was shit. Like I got there,
That's the thing.
people were
It's the
pushing me. I thought
experience,
I was getting mugged by the bouncer. He stole my 10 rand.
These was $10, bro. These was $10.
He didn't like it, Dave. He was like, give me your $10. And you were like, okay.
No, so I had my ID. So I went and my ID was my wallet back in the day. So I had my ID and I think it was a bribe. I'm like, no, I'm 18. I'm allowed to be. I'm not going to bribe you. And he's like, thanks, man. I'm like, and I had to buy a bottle of water with cents. And the guy's like, we don't take cents anymore. And I was like, and he just stood at me. I was like, and I just took the water. I just took the water and he just walked away. I was like,
You're probably just like, it's fine. Whatever.
so my first experience really like set me up for hatred towards it. But
That's fair.
I think for
though.
the basis, I can appreciate it and how good it was.
So I can agree with that because Toy. I don't know if you guys have been to Toy.
I've been scared because that thing scares me.
Terrified, dude.
Twitter's closing, all right?
No,
Not still open.
Oh, is it
It's
still
still
open?
open.
Yeah,
Somehow.
still open.
You can never close
Somehow,
down
I'm trying to figure out.
Bro,
how
it's like a
still open,
cockroach. Toy Toy can survive nuclear explosions, I
but
swear.
boy, if I can tell you now, that place was the first time I was ever scared. like
Yeah.
of a club. Because I went to, I'm sure you guys remember Townhouse
Oh,
in
yeah.
town.
Oh, why does that bring back memories? I feel like
No, not Townhouse. Sorry, Town Hall.
Okay,
Oh,
no,
Town Hall.
no.
It's where Joe who played there, man? PH Fat.
Oh, those are
deep in
way
there.
back. Are you 30?
My boy, I'm close, dude. I'm close.
Aren't we all
I'm on the wrong side of 20.
God.
Bro. We get in there. We get in there. But no, Town Hall, like, it was also dodgy. It was in town, but it was a vibe, you know. It was sick. But Toy, the moment I walked in there, and the guy gave me a sticker to put on my camera.
I was
And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to get killed tonight or spiked or something. And it was, look, I remember being kind of a jaw, but I think I was too scared to really enjoy the jaw. It was kind of like, you know, who's looking at me? Who's waiting to mug me? You know,
And
who's
then you're
doing
like,
what?
oh shit, I gotta go home as well.
You know what I mean? I'm going to walk. They even say, like, if you're getting an Uber, don't wait outside.
Yeah.
When the Uber arrives, then walk outside and get in your Uber. You, know, you don't want
Run.
to walk down the road to go get your Uber in your toy.
That's the thing. Town overall just has that feel of I'm gonna get mugged. I just don't know when. Because even we went like
Or where,
nowhere
bro.
even near Toy. We had like Kitcheners, and we called an Uber, and the guy like stopped and like he looked at us, and we were not fighting with our friend, but she wanted to stay.
Yeah.
And then the guy was like sadness in his voice. He's like, please just get into the car right now, guys.
Yeah.
Because like just get into the car. And we're like, okay, something serious. I'll go.
Yeah, we'll close the door.
Was that the Uber?
Yeah,
Bro, when an Uber's telling you, please. You know, like, okay, I'm getting inside, bro. I
Yeah.
don't care if
Dude.
you're going to like traffic me right now. I'm getting inside.
Because like 5 minutes before, we literally saw some guy's phone get jacked. We saw the guy do the 100-meter sprint in 4 seconds. It was
Nah, that side of town. Look, it's like the Wild West, bro. So it's lit. It's lit. You go there like
gonna
it's
have a
gonna
good
be
time.
a jolt, but I'm be scared while I'm doing it. You know
tight
what I mean?
pockets. That's all you need.
Why is it always the dingiest places have the filthiest vibes,
God,
dude?
I've been thinking the same thing. man. It's literally always the dingiest places have the
Facts.
absolute jolts. I mean, truth.
Yeah,
I think
true.
it's because it's so hard to get to that you only get your die-hard fans, so it doesn't become saturated. Because it's like, even I was gonna ask you now, like, how do you feel about those like Lock, Stock and Beer Jaws, where it's like the same music and everything? I feel it's why you get that like transition of there's good music in the dingy places because only the true fans will go there, where other people just go to like.
Well, that's the
LSB.
thing, you know, with Lockstock. I mean, it's a vibe. It's definitely a vibe, but you don't. There's no consistency in the music. That's the problem. You know, you don't go to Lockstock for the music.
I feel like there's no mixing at Lock, Stock. I feel like it's
So
it's
sometimes
a
they'll
set-
have a
set-
DJ that does it. Sometimes there'll just be a DJ who's like play.
No, but when they do
Maybe it's
mix,
even Spotify. Just plug in the phone.
Hey,
I wouldn't even be
that
surprised.
3-second transition, you shift it up to 5 and
You
it
know what I
fades.
mean?
volume on his phone.
Dude, the last time we went there, that Oak literally was playing music for literally like 30 seconds of the song, like every single song.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was pissed off. Like he would do like one break, and as it was like in the break still, he would go to the next song.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, bro, it's still jawling.
100%.
Hey guys,
Alles
you gotta get whatever gig you
get
can,
your
bro.
hands.
You gotta do what you can,
Hey,
bro.
bro, if it pays
I
up there.
can't hate, bro. I might do that one day. Just be like, bro, please.
We
Yes,
went-
one, I just want to judge.
We went to this place in Centurion this weekend, dude, and that DJ.
Did you go?
Yeah.
I was speaking to Dave, and he was like, but it's fine. I'm like, hey,
And also,
listen.
like as you drove past, like we were driving to the entrance, I was like, oh, what have we done?
Bro, it
Turns
looks-
out
How was
to be
it though?
Such a sick place.
One of the
It's-
best
So it's a place
places
called
I've
Railways, and then it's got like 4 different sets. So on our right, there's an entire like concert going on, like in a room with the like this rock band.
Yeah.
And then you go, then just past there is this outside area with umbrellas. It's chill. Then there's where we were. It was just playing like throwback songs, which is beautiful. It
Yeah,
was such a
can't go
beautiful,
wrong.
beautiful
Yeah.
throwbacks. And then like you go to your left, and it's just like a restaurant vibe.
Yeah.
All
That's
within
quite
like the
dope.
space of like 80 meters, like squared kind of thing. It's like
Oh, that's not like I want something like that in Joburg. Like
Yeah.
Joburg. The problem about Joburg is, you know, you've got your odd places where you can like Truth, and you got Maddie's. I mean, no, not really
Yeah.
Maddie's anymore,
Yeah.
but yeah, on Lockstock and things, but we don't have like a really, 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 really sick jaw.
that's
I
what I was
mean,
gonna
don't
say.
know.
Like proper like club vibe, you have to go to Truth, or you're
That's the
going
thing.
to Toy Toy. Yeah.
Exactly. There was a spot in, I think, Umhlanga during VAC. I can't remember. I think it was Cape to Cairo or something, and they had like 4 different stages.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That was a vibe.
Ah.
Because it was just so massive, bro. I mean, I can't remember for the life of me what music was playing. But I mean, you go to the one, you're like trash. You go to the other one, you're like not as trash. Go to the one, this is smacking.
Yeah.
And that becomes trash. You go to the other one, it's
I like
smacking.
that
You know what I
you've got
mean?
like a choice. You got
Exactly.
And you normally have to wait for festivals for that kind of thing.
That's the thing, bro.
Yeah.
And when are we having Ultra again?
I've been asking. I gave up on Ultra. Dude. Last Ultra I went to was like 2018, and I was like, okay, this is my last Ultra. I'm done. Then after lockdown, I'm like,
I need it.
Ultra, bro.
Dude, even
I
me, who's not a
need
massive fan of Ultra, I'm like, yeah, I'd even take an Ultra Joel right now. You know what I mean? Because I was telling you guys earlier, Twilight. I've been to Twilight. I haven't been to Revolution, and they vibes because of the Vaab, but not. I'm not a fan of the music, like psytrance and techno and drum and bass and that kind of stuff. So the genre of music that's playing isn't the best, but the vibe of it's sick. You know, you've got your tents up. You know, you've got a bunch of mates around. You're having a little braai. You doping. And then when you wreck, you're like, wow, let's go find a place that I can kind of jaw to. But I want a place where it's that plus my music. You know what I mean? I think they used to have Deep in the Woods or something. But every time they had it was just apparently terrible. I never went to it. But I just think we need something that's like got that deep house, tech house vibe, but in a festival format. You know what I mean? That's my dream. In a festival. I need that.
beautiful.
Like 3 days where you just camp with your chums and you're listening to the best house.
I think you're
I'm a
literally
piano,
explaining if you
everything,
could put
boy.
up a tent in the Truth parking lot, you would be happy, kind of.
Yeah.
If you could catch what I'm trying to do,
That's the dream, bro. Honestly, absolute dream.
That's fucking beautiful, dude. Would you say you'd ever like go back to Truth on like how you used to, like weekly type shit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Like if it came back proper,
I mean,
you were like, because I feel like the older people get, the more they're less into drawing like that.
I think, look, maybe not weekly, you know what I mean? Because I am getting to that stage where, I sound old when I say that, but I am getting to that stage where I don't want to jaw every weekend, you know what I mean? I also kind of want to use the weekend to just, because I love my music production. So sometimes there's weekends where I'm like, I don't want to do nothing. I don't want to see anybody. I just want to produce.
Yeah.
Like, I was on it, have a glass of whiskey next to me, a J by my hand, and just produce.
Yeah.
That is I love it. I
Is
love
that
it.
Hudson
Oh
with
my
the
god,
J.
Hudson with the fucking J! Dude! Oh my god, dude!
This man is smarter than any of you.
But I was like, that's a Starbucks one. He's like, Hudson with the J. Oh, Judson, yes. No!
It's all twists and turns,
Bro.
guys. I'm glad you caught on.
You're different, dude.
Man,
That's levels,
That's
goddamn.
man, right?
Pull up the logo. Is there any hidden imagery in the logo, David? We need to see it.
That's dope, man.
Oh
Shit.
god. Would you say, because I've always wanted to know this, because my brother now, he started making like beats and stuff, but he did that after he started learning piano. Would you say that your knowledge of like instruments has helped you?
100%. 100%. So not so much like a bit of composition of the stuff, because I mean you got to know like how to put your drums and stuff together. You know, you kind of learn that. For me, when I did guitar, I had a teacher for about a year, and a lot of what I learned from him was a bit of like, you know, how to, what's the word, improvise. You know, a lot of soloing and scales and stuff. And when it comes to building chords, that's where I struggled, because he taught me how to build chords, but I was lazy and I loved soloing. You know, I love my blues, I love my metal, so I just wanted to shred. And that's fun and it sounds great, but when, you know, you've got someone saying, okay, cool, I want you to play a C major fifth, whatever, and I'm like,
I can do a solo.
I've been playing guitar for like 12 years, being like, my guy, I'm just give me a few minutes.
I'm here to vibe,
you know what I
dude.
mean? So definitely having that theory behind it will 100% help you. It also helps your ears, because what I've used a lot of the time is my ears, and they always say, you know, use your ears. You'll hear producers saying, you know, when you build, you know, how you make it sound that good, or how do you clean it up? And it's like, just use your ears. And it's literally, you got to have hours and hours and hours of actually listening to where you're putting things, how you making them sound, where the frequencies are, and where you're cutting them out, and all that kind of stuff. And it's time like that. But definitely having instruments, you know, instrument training in the background definitely helps 100%, especially with chords and putting those things together. Because you'll see me sitting on, if I can't get the chords that are hitting the way I wanted to, because there's a few things I can do in the piano, but not like anything mind blowing. But being able to just be like, okay, I want to make a track in A sharp minor, whatever, and you just got the chords, boom, 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 lacquer, that sounds good. It just speeds up the process. You know, I'll sit there in my piano roll, clicking a, what does that sound like? Cling, no, that's track. Okay, delete that one, put that, and it just takes, bro, listen. Fuck, that's cut. Okay, no, change. Then you change up your whole track because you're just not getting the sound you want. So 100% helps, bro. 100%.
Do you ever record like because I don't even know what it's like sampling. I don't know if that's the right word. I'm just using things that I think sound good.
when you record the
Yes.
sounds, like if I had to like,
Exactly. Yeah. Do you ever do that type of shit?
I haven't. But
Ah,
I
so
wanna
we are your
start
friends
doing it.
gonna shit there. You know Zac Efron in the movie? Where he's got the mic.
Trying to shank me. What?
You know, we are your
What are you
friends with
talking
Zac
about,
Efron, man.
What?
We are your friends. Oh, I didn't watch that movie. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
neither did I.
We are your friends.
We are
It's the one where Zac Efron's a DJ.
Okay,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
What?
But you're a
Doesn't it-
producer.
I should have kept
I thought that's like a
quiet.
case study for the
I should have kept quiet. No, I've wanted to watch it, but over the years, I think it was on Netflix a couple of years back.
Welcome
I
back
was
to
like,
Vaabs recommendations. We are your friends.
Wasn't I thought it was a cuck movie? Wasn't it a cuck movie?
I
It's
heard it was
shit, but it's so cool.
I mean, that doesn't make me want to watch it now.
it's-
I get what you're saying.
But anyway, he just sits there like his friend's like busy using a nail gun.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've wanted to do it because there's also sites where you can sell like samples and stuff,
Mm.
and there's always ways to try and find different ways to make money. And with my guitaring, I've always wanted to sample the guitaring because you'll have people who can't play guitar, but they want to have maybe a quick guitar riff or something, or a couple of guitar chords in their track, but they can't find that sound.
Yeah.
That's why I want to start recording just random things, like a random lick or a little riff here or a little solo or a couple of chords here and there, and hopefully sell it.
That's
Little things like knocking on a table and making like percussionary things. I've thought about it. It's just admin and I'm lazy. That's the main thing. To be honest, like I've got the mic, I've got the setup for it, but I'm just like,
There's a
as soon as
plug-in.
you know what I mean. I just as soon as I've got my door up, which is the software, I just want to get cracking. You know what I mean? I don't want to set some time like 2 hours making some sounds.
Right, and I can imagine
When I
it
can
must be
just
so
find them
difficult.
myself.
I just imagine it, like you seem a bit crazy because you're just there like right around your house like.
No, not the right
That-
sound.
You know what I mean? That's the thing. And then you spend like 4 hours trying to get this on. You're like, they're all trash. Fucking. Now I've spent 4 hours.
Let me
kind of-
download some Kanye 808s.
You know what I mean? That's the thing. That's the thing. So it's definitely something I've wanted to do, but not too like in depth. Because I mean,
Yeah.
you can find all these samples and stuff online, anyways.
Yeah.
Percussionary things you can find, and there's so much you can do with those things. You know, I can find a snare and change it up so much to make it sound like a bass. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I mean, there was a sample challenge Carl Watson did a couple months ago, and I can't remember what sound. I think it was a vocal or something, and I turned the vocal into a bass, and I used that as my bass line. Because there's just so much you can do, you know what I mean? There was just enough low mids, adding low mids. You got effects and stuff that you can just turn it into that. So you don't really need to, but if there's a specific sound you're going for that you like, I just can't find the sample anywhere, then 100%. You know what I mean? Or actually, there's been a couple of times the phone plug-in sound, like on anything, like an iPhone OS, or all those things.
yeah.
I'm like, yo, imagine I put that in a track.
Yeah.
As it drops. You know what I mean? Like, just those little things. I'm like, I want to do that. But then I
That'd be
just get
sick.
lazy.
Oh, that makes
Yeah.
sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, man.
Well, Judd, we have gotten to that all-important part of the show.
Yes, sir.
You know, that number one reason why people come to the podcast, but we normally leave it for the end. And that is our Vaab checks. Shout out the Vaab checks. We've got a couple of Vaab checks here for you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll try the, hey. We're sorry. But yeah, so the first Vaab check of the week. I wrote this purely because I have a lot of opinions, and I think we got your opinion,
Okay,
sort of.
we'll see. We'll
But yeah, Vaab check on Deep House.
Guys, need I say more?
Uh,
I love the shit out of it. I mean, I love Deep House. I mean, it's a very underground sound. It's not for everyone, but I think I'll love it forever.
Can I just say, I've fallen out of love of it.
It happens,
Just
bro.
a bit.
It happens. The thing is,
I
you get to
can't-
a stage where you're gonna fall out of love. with it,
Yeah.
you know
What's
what I
your
mean? I mean,
new deep house like fill? Or what's it like?
Oh,
Or hit?
have you ever listened to Future Funk?
I haven't.
Oh, Young Bay,
Yeah.
Macross 82, 98. Yeah.
Also, one and
I'll listen to it.
So what it is, it's like old Japanese disco, but
Yeah.
like you pitch it up by like 2, whatever the fuck's.
Future Funk.
Intake.
Oh, where?
Intake. I don't know what it is.
After this, you must send me a few tracks, bro.
Bro, I will.
Because I'm keen. I'm
bro,
always happy to hear new things.
I literally,
man.
my brother
Always,
bought me a
100%.
DJ deck, like a pocket one, a small
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
And I was like, I just want to make Future Funk. I just want to make feature.
Bro,
man.
that's the thing. If you're falling in love with it and you want to make it, do it. Honestly.
Yeah.
Because you just get sucked into it. And
But-
when you're bored, bro,
Do you ever feel that stereotype of like, right, so you're from Fourways and you're trying to be a DJ? A DJ from Fourways. How original.
I started off in Phelan, so it didn't really count.
I was a
And then I was like,
DJ.
a DJ from Phelan. It was like, actually, it's not bad. Now I moved to Lonial in like December. Now I'm feeling it. I work in real estate. And one of my mates, he was tuning me. He's like, yo, Judge, you moved to Fourways now. You know what that means? I'm like, what? He's like, the typical Fourways but deep house.
Bro.
I was more before.
Why you gotta be like that?
Even when you're in gym, suddenly the leg machines are less attractive. You're like, I don't think I want to do that.
Always changes you, bro. I think
Bro.
my accent is getting more and more. But as I started driving, I'm moving more and more furniture, and it just became like, yo, bro.
Yeah, I went to
furniture's a
those-
bit heavy.
I went to this party. It was such a vibe. It was such a great vibe. Vibe. Yo, dude, that
Vibe,
Joel
dude.
was a vibe.
Hey, bro, it's your boost of don't talk to
So my dad moved to Hermanus, and he was gone for a couple of months. And since he's moved back, I've been in Fourways. And even he said like the 3-4 months I've been in Fourways, like, yo, Judd, that accent. Hey.
It's a heavy one, dude.
Yes, I'm trying my hardest to fight it, but it's like I'm trying my hardest.
Oh.
Process, bruh. I'm like, why I gotta be like this? But I'm slowly accepting it. What can you do?
it's not-
It's a Fourways vibe.
It's always, it's good. It's
Yeah. I mean, if you're from Fourways, you
Yeah,
really.
so you know.
No, we were talking to someone about it like 2 weeks back, where it was like, if you're from Fourways, you don't talk shit about Fourways to anyone who's not from Fourways. The second you're in a room of people with Fourways, you're like, hey, what is Skaki? Like, this is the best place on planet Earth, bro.
If I can tell you one thing that I love but hate about Fourways, there's nice
robots.
cars, but I live right by a main road.
Ooh.
And
Oh
the
my
Verpas,
The
they
Vrpas on a Saturday.
weren't- They weren't every
Yeah.
day. Like,
Everything's
every day. Lonial Boulevard here.
Yeah.
It's the word. Luckily, I'm a heavy sleeper, but yes, it's at 2 o'clock in the morning. I was telling David, I genuinely thought like that we were getting attacked. It was just after the news of Ukraine and Russia, so I was like, "Fuck, are we getting invaded right now?" Like, I don't know what's going on. I was still half asleep, and it was literally just some in his Golf R with some kit on, because it was literally this like grumble, this like, bah, bah, bah. I was like, "Oh, fuck,
This is the
fuck's sake,
fucking
this is
worst.
Golf R Oak.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I dig it. Bro.
No
It's a vibe.
Happiness. It's a vibe. Speaking of vibes, our next vibe check. This one has been contentious in our friend group for a long ass time.
No way.
But Shazamming your bros' tracks.
I mean, I respect. I think it's a vibe. I mean, if you had to come and Shazam my track, as in like,
like,
like not my track, like in the car. and you're
Yeah,
like,
no, I'm on aux and you're like,
hey, no.
Is that the
Well, if you, I was gonna say if you should be Shazamming my track, I'm like, fucking do it.
yeah, funny, bro.
I'm fine with
100%.
it.
You ain't gonna fucking find
You know what I mean? I don't mind it, to be honest. Like, I know a lot of people are like, bro, this is my music. Don't touch my music.
Yeah.
But for me, it's like, if my music's good enough for you to Shazam it, I'm like, got you, bro.
Yeah,
you know what
you
I
see,
mean?
I
I'm
feel
here
the
for the,
same
I'm
as
here
Judd,
for the
dude.
squad.
The only,
Yeah.
the only converse I have is then you all start listening to it, and then you think you're playing something great, and then like because you've played like once at a party, and your friends like this is great, and you don't know this Shazam, and you played against like no, I've heard this like 15 times. It's like how?
Yeah.
It's like I Shazammed it, I had it.
Dude. But I feel like not when you don't let your friend Shazam it makes it so much more like amazing when you find it.
Fair.
Yeah, because one of our mates, Ross, he literally he's the reason we are the way we are. He wouldn't send us a single track. When Shazam came on, we were at a party once. He was on aux, bro. Not even our party.
so funny.
Bro, we're Shazamming in the
speakers were
corner.
loud.
Loud.
Like, loud.
We're fucking trying to Shazam. Bro, I swear, he saw this blue light from the corner of his eye. It was
You
fuck.
lie.
He ran to the speaker and unplugged his phone.
He said, didn't play music. He was like, I'm done then.
But
Yeah.
excessive.
Bro, when we found that track, though.
Okay,
it's-
that's the thing.
It's
When you get
minute
it.
44 in Vimo Volume 14 mix
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Mixcloud. You can't find it
You
unless
won't
you
even
have
find it.
Mixcloud, dude. Oh, fucking horrible, dude.
No, but I
But if
respect,
I
I
could-
respect that side of it. You know, when you do end up finding that track, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm
100%.
finally after years and years, obviously not years,
And
but
that's
like
the problem with
forever.
Deep House, that's why I hate it, because you won't find it as a track. You have to go in those sets, and you're
100%.
there like taking down numbers.
But
like,
also 90% of those
37.
tracks are all they're unreleased or they're underground on SoundCloud. You know what I mean? You're not gonna
Yeah.
find them. You might find one or two, like if you got the big artists playing, you'll find them, somewhere on Spotify.
SoundCloud should come up with their own fucking Shazam thing.
That's actually a good
Like
idea.
SoundCloud should have their own native thing in the app where you can actually listen to something and then find it.
Ooh.
I think maybe
Shout out SoundCloud.
Hey, let's
Get your shit
You know
together.
they ain't listening. They chilling.
SoundCloud
Yes.
listen to a damn thing, bro.
They listening to Joe Rogan, bro.
Where does SoundCloud make their money, actually?
It's a good question, eh? I think it's from Pro Unlimited and Repost because you can obviously SoundCloud's free, but for artists, like I was thinking about joining Pro Unlimited, which is like 800 rand a year or something, and that's to help spread my
Boost.
basically boost my tracks a bit more, get some more insights on where they're being seen and stuff.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think that's it, hey. Because I have no idea where else they're gonna get them the
Yeah.
money from.
Do you ever
It's
get
just
ads
all
on
free.
SoundCloud?
No.
I don't use
None,
SoundCloud.
bro.
I think if you ever got ads on SoundCloud, they will lose so much of their follower base. Just because
Yeah.
why?
I think that's why. I mean, I don't know what's keeping them going. I generally think that
I think it's
that's
just one guy. I feel.
Someone who just loves
millionaire who's just
music.
like,
Yeah.
that's fine. Y'all just post your stuff. It's cool.
Yeah.
'Cause other than that, I don't know. Maybe they've got shares in data or something. I don't know. Bro. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me, but yeah.
The amount of shit I'd do if I had money, dude. It's like I just do random shit for the sake of it,
Dude,
bro.
I watch Sidemen a lot.
Same.
Hey.
And seeing
We
the
all
amount you can do, like just random shit with money. Like KSI has just been fucking prime. It's like,
Yeah.
I want to make an energy drink.
Yeah.
Okay, well shit, where'd that come from? You know what I mean? Man was like doing YouTube videos on games. Now he's making an energy drink.
Dude.
And not just an energy drink, like, bro, it's like one of the
Dude, it's
best energy drinks in
massive.
fucking
You know
like
what I'm
the US
saying?
right now. It's
A
like fucking
Sidemen.
insane.
They've got Sidemen vodka or some shit. I mean,
Yo,
like,
XIX,
Really?
dude.
dude.
I didn't even know they had that.
Oh,
Vodka.
bro.
Yeah.
They're putting it in rap videos and drill videos now.
Are you serious?
Dude.
I
It's
low-key
insane.
want to try it,
Yeah.
but I feel like it's going to be overpriced.
I'm dying to
It'll
try
probably
Prime.
be-
I just want to like.
Dude,
wine-
everyone wants to try Prime. I want to try
Dude.
Prime. I'm like, I don't care about energy drinks, but I want
But
to
you
try
tweak
Prime.
off like a coffee.
Bro, there's like nothing in it. That's the best part. I feel like it's like pure electrolyte.
Kind of
I
like
don't know what the
vitamin
fuck's
water
in
in
it.
a way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We need to have another gym talk with this. Pure electrolyte, man.
Not today. I'm fucking big, dude.
Yeah, no, please.
Oh, God. Last vibe check. I feel like it's not really a vibe check, but it's mainly a question.
Yeah.
Here at Vaabs Podcast, we run a little playlist called Vaabs FM. If you guys haven't seen it, we shared it one time. And it's in the it's linked now on Instagram. So you have no excuse.
Beautiful. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
I'll put in the description of the YouTube video as well. And actually,
Oh,
even if you're listening on Spotify, it's there.
Oh,
look,
wait.
look down.
Yeah, facts. Just look down.
At your feet right now. There it is.
What is it? Him on the floor. We want to add a bunch of like different songs. We want to have a guest like every single week, like or every time we have a guest to like add songs to it or like one song or whatever. What would you say like is like your top song right now that you've just been mashing that you're like, yeah, put that on your playlist?
And don't say your own songs because they're all there already. So
We hooked him up on Spotify somehow.
Sure.
Also, that has to be
I
on
just
Spotify.
play over and over again, man. Yo, that's a toughie, hey?
it doesn't have to be deep pass, eh? Because I wanna get into your middle
Is a
side.
bang of a track. Yo, can't remember what it's called. Give me 2 seconds.
Do you ever find with like music, like house and shit like that you just actually never remember the names?
Never, bro. I'm just like, I recognize this album cover. That's a banger. Let's listen to it. It's a house track, but it's not like a deep house track. Give me 2 seconds.
No worries.
How do
I
you,
went and
James?
had this like liquid drum and bass set that I loved. And it's now disappeared into the voids of YouTube, and now I'll never be able to find it. And
That sucks,
I
bro.
resonated when
Away.
you said, did you ever
Could-
like lose it?
You can go into history though. How long ago was it?
2014.
Oh,
2016. Yeah, I won't find it.
Yeah, you won't find it because it's not at the beginning and it's not.
You'll be surprised, bro. I've found tracks from eons ago that I was like, this is a bang, and I just
Yeah, I
never,
was
ever,
searching
ever,
'cause I was
ever
like
found
trying
it
to figure out
again.
like, was it like a wave as the picture? And
Have you ever
Can't
lost your
remember.
SoundCloud and found it again?
Like the actual profile.
Well, yeah, like you're like, it was like from high school, and then like you took a break off SoundCloud, and then you found you like, yo,
Briefly.
uh,
Because I've got like 7 different emails because I always forget the passwords all the time. But the SoundCloud one was the one that I actually ended up
my
finding.
SoundCloud got hacked. Do you remember when we were talking about that?
oh, when you just had random
Yeah,
songs on your
someone just
SoundCloud.
That's
my
been
account.
happening to my Spotify. Me and my mates have set up a group, and there's just been some random that's like included themselves because I think we made it.
Public.
Oh, no,
Public.
that's what happens.
And
with
there was
Vaabs
just
FM as
random
well.
songs coming on. We were like, dude, what the fuck? Who's posting this stuff? And we saw there's just some random oak with some
Trying to
other
promote their
name from like
music.
you know,
Yeah.
Argentina or something. Like, okay, new group, make it private. and it's unreleased. Yeah, literally, bro. You'll be listening to Chanda, and then all of a sudden, hey, whoppa! You're like, what?
And then it just goes boom.
you know what I mean? You're like, this ain't making sense, bro. But yeah, I found the track.
Oh,
It's called "Some People Fall" by Jay Wara.
Some
Ooh.
people fall.
Let me quickly. Hey, you gotta put it on.
I'll put it on.
I'll get it on.
Chuck it on.
Schmackerinos.
Some people. So say it again. Some people.
fall.
Some people fall.
Yeah.
Jay
Jay Wara.
Wara.
JWORRA.
Do you know his other songs out of interest?
There's another one I just saw called, I think it was Cut Off. I think. So he's got a house of like a type of house vibe. There's only 2 tracks I'm in love with at the moment. There's not too many that I'm like absolutely adore, but it's this Some People Fall. There's another one that schmacks. But this one,
Ooh,
yeah.
chef's kiss.
Chef's
fucking tell
kiss.
you, my
Excited.
boy,
Producer's
that-
kiss. Yeah.
Yeah. But represent. Hope you guys dig it as much as I do.
No way, bro.
No way.
I do too, because if it's shit, then this segment
It's
ends
fine,
very
you can
quickly.
remove it, boy, but I don't think you ain't gonna hate it. I think you're gonna
Yo,
do
he even spelled people pull.
right? That's how I
That's
knew it was
elite,
either
dude.
gonna be cuck or it's gonna schmack. And
Yeah,
it
actually.
schmacks. Nah,
Can I
it's
talk
good.
about your middle side
Yeah.
and your blues side? What? Because that's like your first love.
Yeah.
So how did you start like listening to blues first and then trying to play afterwards, right?
So it actually stemmed from my dad. He's big fan of 80s music and stuff for eons. I mean, it was what he grew up on. Judas Priest, AC/DC, Q5, not as well known, actually not super well known, but massive fan of Q5, Def Leppard, all those kinds of guys, and then Stevie Ray Vaughan. That goes into more of the blues side. So the stuff I just mentioned was more like 80s metal, classic metal. And I fell in love with it when I was in primary school, I think. Even my dad would be always playing it in the car when he's taking me to school, taking me back.
Dad's
You know,
shit
dads,
forward.
you know
I'm
what I mean?
like a Van Morrison fan. Cyrus Heron.
Yeah. And I fell in love with, 80s metal and stuff through there. Then it kind of, as I got a bit older, high school, just out of high school, I listened to a lot of blues and stuff. I think that's when, I was kind of fading from the metal side, and I was like, well, I still want to play guitar. I still love guitar, but I'm not enjoying my shredding as much, and I'm not, I still love my Judas Priest and AC/DC and that kind of stuff, but I'm not really enjoying playing that music.
Okay.
Then I started hearing Stevie Ray Vaughan, Gary Moore, who else? I mean, Jimi Hendrix, obviously very well known, and I don't know, there was just something about it it's just got so much soul to it. Blues, it just grabs you, and when I'm playing the blues, it literally, I almost feel like I'm getting, without sounding cliche, but I literally feel like I'm getting transported into another world, and I'm just literally sitting there and just feeling the music, with guitar. Music production, you feel it, but you make it as you go on. With guitar and blues, you feel the music. While
Yeah.
you
Feel like
play it,
you're
you know
New
what I mean?
Orleans. on
You
the
know what I
balcony.
mean? You're just there, and you just, I mean, there's videos of me playing my guitar, and I call it the stank face. And it's when you're sitting there and you're like,
I've seen those videos.
you've seen those videos. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, from then on, I just fell in love with blues. Still absolutely love my blues. Whenever I play guitar, it's just blues.
That's
all the time
awesome.
blues.
Have you ever tried to like bring blues into deep house vibe?
I have. It's very difficult.
It
It doesn't work as, I mean, you can still bring guitar into deep house. I mean, Chanda does it a couple of times. He's got a few tracks where he brings guitar in, but it's usually like a few notes here and there. It's not like,
It's not gonna be your
and then-
basis.
you know what I mean? But with blues, you can bring it into like lo-fi,
Yeah.
or you can bring it
yeah.
into like other types of house, but not so much deep house. Deep house is it's a bit grungy and it's deep.
Yeah.
Blues is very soulful, and you can't really, there's not a lot of soul you can bring into deep house. You know what I mean?
But I remember you were making those tunes with Trident as well.
Yes.
Yeah,
My mate,
those fucking shreds
yeah,
on
dude.
those.
Yeah, we've got more
Filthy.
coming out. Don't worry, we're still working on a few tracks.
That's
here and there.
beautiful.
And yeah, no, I really want to make more tracks with my guitaring, but it's not going to be really house. I mean, you'll hear a bit of like little, pluck here and a little note here and there with the guitar, but the guitar will really show its color in my lo-fi and my more chilled tracks. Like I said, I've got a chilled one coming out that really, that I really put the guitar into.
This is the one that's coming out.
No. So that one, so there's another, this is a deep house one coming out on Friday.
Friday.
All your favorite platforms, Spotify, Apple Music.
Yeah.
18th.
We're gonna plug it right now.
18.
So the track will be out by the time you guys see this episode. So
Hey, when's this
No.
coming out?
No.
Not?
It will.
it will.
No, this is only airing next week, Friday.
Yes.
He's releasing it this week, Friday.
So the track will be out.
Oh, the track will
I was
you
gonna be
said-
confused. I get you. I get
You're
you.
the episode before.
No, you'll be what? I'm
No
saying
way.
in our fucking 50 of this episode, you guys will be able to hear this episode.
We'll link it below. Check, there's a link in the YouTube description.
Yes.
The facts. What's the song gonna be called?
Oh shit, man. What's it called? Leave This Place. Yeah.
That's exciting.
Just kind of fell into place, man. The track itself, also the way I built on it, started off as one track, ended up being a completely different one, and the vocals are kind of what gave it its name. Leave This Place. You know? And yeah, I love my deep house, so I hope you guys dig it as much as I did making it.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. Leak it, I
I'm so
beg.
excited.
Let's go.
Leak it right now. Let's lock off this podcast. Let's just listen to the track. Fuck it. Play us your unreleased. Oh god.
No way.
Yeah. How long have we been going for?
Hour 5.
Sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
5 hours.
I could do
man.
this all day,
That's
bro.
crazy.
It's lit.
Shut up. You know, you guys don't hear it, but he's in my ears.
I hear everything, guys. When you're annoying, I hear it.
He's so mad. He just checks out a conversation. He's like, Dol, what do you think you're eating later?
Legit.
No, I'm
Yeah,
hungry.
Judson was literally in the middle of a conversation. I just hear David go. Like, what the? It happens so often. I can't even tell you. I'll be like intently listening, and then I just look at him, and he's going. Like, a big smile on his face or something.
Oh,
He's
God.
like coughed or something.
He's such a
I've been
menace,
talking,
dude.
He's like something about. Oh, wow.
He goes, oh wow, wow. That's hilarious.
Oh, fuck, I'm gonna take my mouth away.
That's so gross.
But that was lacquer, guys. Thank you, man.
Yeah,
I'm
thank
glad
you,
to be here. It's really, really sick being on
yeah,
the
bro.
Vaabs podcast.
No, I'm glad you came.
Beautiful.
Man.
I won't lie to you, bro. I feel like I could talk to you for hours about this music thing, eh?
Dude, I'm always
Right.
happy to have a chat.
Uh,
Whenever I release another track, if you guys want to do it, I'm definitely down.
Wait.
And just talk Vaabs.
Just
Vibes.
talk
Talk
vibes.
Vaabs, bro.
That's fucking beautiful, bro.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Davey, anything from you? Anything last you want to get out? Find out about his. Oh, we have to ask the guests. Has music helped you get girls? I don't know how David fucking asks it every time we have a guest. He always has to figure out. He's like, "Hey, whatever you're doing, does it
Does it
help
get
you
you
with
girls?"
that lady?"
So, not really. I mean, no, like
What?
So,
Find what helps.
¿Por qué?
so yes and no. I mean, obviously, my girlfriend absolutely adores my music, you know. But if it's not something that attracted her to me, or it's not things that girls are like, "Oh shit, you produce music? Oh, damn, bro, you know what I mean?"
Give me a
That's it.
SoundCloud.
It's kind of like, "Oh, that's cool. How's your day?" You know what I mean? Then they hear your music and they're like, "Oh shit, that's actually really cool. How's your day?" You know what I mean? It doesn't really get. I think it only. So it only really works if you're like actually having gigs and you big. Then I assume it'll kind of work, but yeah, not really. You know what I mean?
Thank you, bro.
Got you, bro.
I now know what I need to do.
I'll never forget it, David. Don't worry. Every guest that comes on, I'll make sure that they tell you, and you'll build the best book of things to do.
that gets girls.
How to get girls from our guests.
Music production,
So.
DJing, having gigs as a DJ.
Ish.
Oh, that's fucking beautiful. Oh goodness, but yeah, Jad, thank you so much for coming
Thank you
on
for
to the
having me,
pod.
guys.
Thank you for
Was a
being
jam.
here,
man.
It
It's
was a
been a
vibe.
beautiful.
It was very
Yeah,
sick.
it's been fucking vibes, dude.
100%.
Yeah, Davey, you
Thank
want to tell
guys.
the people where they can find us? But
On-
before you do that, because I know you're gonna disrespect, then people might click off after hearing 1,000 places they actually can't find our podcast. Judd, where can the people find you? Or what is your ats and your socials and
Instagram, HudsonWithaJ music. .music to be specific. SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube. Not so much YouTube. Instagram, everywhere. Hudson with a J. You'll find my music there. Let me know what you
Sweet.
think. Send me a DM. I'd love to hear it.
Send them all your DMs.
If you hate it, don't tell me. No, I'm joking. Don't tell me, but Vaabs.
But like, be respectful.
Be respectful about it. You know what I mean? Be
Just be like,
Drop
this
your
shit
address
is
so we can come
trash.
take you down.
Facts. Vaabs podcast is an enemy of anyone who's an enemy of Hudson with the J. We're declaring it now. It's war. If you hate the music, you hate Vaabs. I don't think those two things go together, but I guess, you know, we stand by it.
does.
It's a blood feud. Oh, goodness. Davey, where can the people find us?
on SoundCloud now, purely just for HudsonWithaJ. Now we're just on SoundCloud. We've dropped all of Spotify and everything. Don't zoom in on me, you prick.
Get up
Find
in
us on Spotify, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts every time, Amazon Music. And if you are in a hurricane and they say go to the center because it's most calm, it's the reason it is there is because Vaabs Podcast is playing.
Oh, that's solid. Yeah.
That's cool.
If you ever are in a storm in the middle of the sea, once again, like Davey said, if you make it to the eye of the storm, it's not actually the eye of the storm, it's the eye of David's anus, and in his anus, because it's coming through his music, is Vaabs Podcast.
What I do is I put my phone like this and play Vaabs Podcast, and it resonates through my whole body like a speaker.
Nice.
Thank you all for watching.
Thank you guys so much for watching the podcast. We've been Vaabs for Davey, Dole, and Hudson. Do it for the Vaabs.
For the Vaabs.
Woo!
Let's push it.
Let's get it, let's go.
I'll get there one day.
Let's get it, let's go. Dole has to do this thing where he turns off the lights and then
Ah, shit. Is
meant
still
to look
recording what
all
it does?
cool.
Ah,
It's
shit.
just black.
It's just darkness.
Yeah,
Very dark in
the
here.
lights are meant to be on.
Speak.